Welcome back to the channel. Been a few weeks again. It's been a busy week, but I promised some Elmer Bernstein and just a brief chat. It's not going to be the history of this score or the history of the film or the making of the film. It's just about my experiences with the film and my love of the music. But we're going to talk about the Magnificent Seven first of all. Which had a score by Elmer Bernstein. Now, I can't remember when I saw this. It must have been on TV in the late 70s, sometime about then, and I was I just loved the film, and it was one of those films where I was so surprised at the number of people in the cast that didn't make it to the end of the film. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. I haven't seen it numerous times over the past 45 years or so. I still enjoy it, and I still see new things, and I still appreciate even more the dialogue in the film. What a cast as well. Steve McQueen, Yul Brynner, of course. If you can name all 7 actors, you win absolutely nothing. But I've always loved the score, and my first copy of the score was on LP in about 1981, 1982. I can't remember exactly when I got it, and I was just amazed by the intricacy and the orchestration of the score. It was it just blew my mind. I knew that theme, loved it, but to hear it on LP and rather than the crappy versions on TV, it was just amazing. But that was it. That was my first introduction to the score, or my first copy of the score. Now this didn't come out until I believe '66 with the Return of the Seven, and Elmer Bernstein re-recorded some cues from the Magnificent Seven to include on this album. So this is some cues from the Magnificent Seven and Return of the Seven. Never realised that until years later. And the score itself, I believe, wasn't the original score to the 1960 film wasn't released until 1998. There it is. Produced by Robert Townsend, I believe. Yeah, there we go. And Emily Bernstein. But that was the most complete version of the score up to that point. But Robert Townsend also produced this wonderfully vivid re-recording with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. Now, I love these RSNO re-recordings of scores. Sometimes, I mean, they're usually recorded at city halls in Glasgow. Sometimes the hall can sound a bit big, a bit echoey, and you lose some of the detail of the score. But the playing by the RSNO is just stupendous. And again, this was another Robert Townsend goodie. So yeah, they were my 2 follow-up versions of the score. I then, was it this year, or I think it was earlier this year, managed to get the quartet Magnificent Seven collection box set. Now this has got the scores to the Magnificent Seven, the Return of the Seven, Guns of the Magnificent Seven, and Magnificent Seven Ride, and that includes the most complete version of the Magnificent Seven score. They all have their merits. Obviously, the original is the granddaddy. It's almost the granddaddy of Western scores. Sorry, all you Ennio Morricone fans out there. I love Ennio Morricone, but that kind of grand Americana sound is what I love about Western film music, and that I would say the Magnificent Seven is one of my favourite Western scores. So if you can pick up this 4-disc beauty, please do. It's a fantastic set. So yeah, Magnificent Seven, wonderful film, wonderful music. But on the subject of Elmer Bernstein, we might as well do it as well. Another favourite of mine, it was a bank holiday staple here in the UK. for years and years and years, decades probably. Had another great Elmer Bernstein score, and it was The Great Escape. Love this film. It was years, again, one of those films, you know the theme, you love the music, but it was years until I actually got a copy of the score. And this I got from the great 58 Dean Street Records in London. And it's got that funny little cutout thing, which means that there were too many of these and they sold them off cheap, something like that. I don't know, I can't remember. But yeah, love the score. Now this, again, it was years later that I realised there isn't much music on this. I think it's about half an hour or so. But this was a re-recording done with a slightly smaller orchestra, which was the norm in those days. But loved it. I loved having the action music. I remember reading somewhere that somebody said that Elmer Bernstein wasn't good at action music. I can't remember where I read that, and I don't know why anybody would say that. You listen to the chase music in this for Steve McQueen and his bike, and it's just brilliant stuff. But that was a very, very short version of the score and a re-recording. But the RSNO, again, did another re-recording, courtesy of Robert Townsend, on this. Not very inspired covers for these two, just really crappy photos on the front. But the RSNO are a brilliant orchestra. Entrada use them for their re-recordings as well, and they do some wonderful concerts as well. But that was a wonderful recording of The Great Escape. Not quite as punchy as the original, but still, RSNO can't be faulted. But Entrada then released this little beauty, this 3-disc set of the entire score. I know Varese had issued their version of the entire score, but I missed out on that, so I caught up with this version, which had the entire score on discs 1 and 2, and then the original soundtrack album on disc 3. So it's nice to have it all in one set. And I'm glad Daniel from Soundtracks for Birdman has finally got a copy of this for his massive soundtrack collection. So well done, Daniel, for that. Brilliant score. What can I say? If you haven't got it, you must have it in your collection. And I recently got the film on 4K from Kino Lorber, I believe, and it looks the best it's ever looked. It's still not perfect, but compared to that Blu-ray version from about 10 years ago or longer, which looked just terrible, this looks fantastic. Talking of Daniel, he ordered something for me from eBay the other week, and I only picked it up this morning, so let's have a look to see what he's got me. Oh, it's upside down. Daniel, it's upside down. That's right. The original motion picture soundtrack to Gods and Generals. Fantastic. John Frizzell with a very small amount of Randy Edelman stuff, I believe, in there. Featuring Bob Dylan. Mary Farrell. Daniel likes Mary Farrell. Oh, that's brilliant. It's one of the longest films I own on Blu-ray, Gods and Generals, along with Gettysburg. Over 4 hours a piece, those films. Near 5 hours. But magnificent scores as well. Thank you very much, Daniel. That's absolutely fantastic. I've got a DVD disc with it as well. Bob Dylan video, Mary Farrell video, some footage from the film, and the trailer. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you very much. So that's it for now. Just a quick overview. I'm a huge fan of The Great Escape. I'm a huge fan of The Magnificent Seven, and both their scores. Elmer Bernstein, he could. He's like Jerry Goldsmith. He could do anything. He could do anything, and he did. But yeah, that's it for now. I'll think up some more stuff soon. But until then, Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching, and good day.